Alright, hey guys, Fiddlefair here, and welcome back to another episode of Sweetest Monster. So let's just go ahead and continue where we left off. For some inexplicable reason, I feel a chill go down my spine, and not because of the cold. There's something odd about this girl, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Something uncannily familiar, but disconcertingly alien. But I don't know her. I'm sure I don't know her. If I'd met somebody with bright green eyes like that, flickering like halogen lamps, I think I would remember. Normal people don't have eyes like that. I'm sorry, but I don't think we've met before. This must be some kind of mistake. Is it already that... Wait, whoa. And I already said that it isn't. I don't know you anywhere, Mr. Robin. I'd know you anywhere, Robin Hawkins. Whew. So she knows my name. How does she know my name? But she doesn't answer my question. She can't. I forget to say it out loud. She's closer now. She's much closer. She takes one step forward and peers up at me. Her eyes are large, all-encompassing, like twin gas planets. Oh god. Are we dying? My head starts to pound. I feel dizzy. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you for such a long time. I want to tell you something. Something really important. Oh, achievement unlocked. I think I'm in love with you. So saying, the girl standing on the tips of her toes and presses a soft kiss against my cheek. Her movements are so gentle and tender, I could almost kid myself into believing we're estranged lovers, reunited on this bridge for the first time in 15 years. But that can't be. I don't know how old this girl is, but there's a good chance she might not even be 15 yet. As for myself, I have been married to Sally for longer than that. The thought of Sally is enough to pull me back to my senses, more effective than a slap across my face. I'm sorry, but... I take a hold of the girl's shoulders, frighteningly bony, and push her away. She doesn't look surprised by my manhandling. Woman handling? Teen handling? Help me out here. Instead, she stares at me, eyes unblinking. To be honest, it's kind of unnerving. I can't deny that I'm flattered by the attention. What middle-aged man wouldn't be, but at the same time, I'm confused, anxious, and more than a little disturbed. What on earth was that all about? Why... Just who are you, anyway? Don't you remember? I thought that might jog your memory. Not that we've ever kissed before. That would have been weird. I really don't. One of my old students? Do you usually let your students kiss you? Of course not. Good. I'm so happy I'm the only one. I can get awfully jealous, you know. But that doesn't help me out. I still don't know why. Alright, fine. I see we're not getting anywhere without a bit of a push. This girl creeps me. She's really cute, but wow, she's so unsettling. She smiles, her eyes sparkling like precious jewels. First hydrogen planets, now jewels. This girl's eyes are an ever-changing mystery, a source of so many possible similes. They've almost taken on mystic properties. It's inevitable. I've never seen a person with eyes like this before. In that case, there's just no way. How can that be possible? But it is. I step backwards, My back collides against the wrought iron railings and cold seeps through my jacket onto my skin. The girl stands in front of me, smiling coyly as though she hasn't done something shocking. There, growing right out of her scalp, are a pair of ears. A set of twitching black ears lined with white fur that tremble in the cold. Cat ears. Cat's eyes. A cat's tail, too, peeking out underneath the hem of the dress. This must be a dream. This has to be a dream. The sudden kiss should have been enough to be a giveaway, but the scene playing out before me has transcended beyond the border of possible but improbable and right into the congratulations you've gone insane territory. Maybe I've been out longer than I thought. It must be the cold. I'm seeing things. What other explanation is there? This can't be real. There's just no way. Do you know who I am? Slowly, stupidly, I open my mouth and say the very first thing that comes into my head. Belle? The girl's face lights up, wreathed with smiles. That's right, I'm Belle, your great Aunt Clarence's cat. Of course, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's Belle. She's come back to thank me for trying to save her, though she didn't need saving to begin with. That's just how the world works. For those who do good deeds will get rewarded eventually. I think there's something about it in the Bible. I don't know if there's anything about cat girls in there, though. Granted, I never paid much attention in RE at school, so I can't be sure. I'm no priest. Falling into the river during my formative years must have scarred me more than I thought. And yet, despite my belief that this must be some kind of near-death-induced dream, the girl, or Belle, should I say, doesn't disappear, doesn't even flicker. She remains stubbornly solid, leaning her elbows against the iron railings as she stares out at the starry sky. If it weren't for the ears and tail, would she look like an ordinary girl? An ordinary girl who kisses middle-aged men in the middle of the night? Well, I suppose that isn't so unusual. Not really. Lots of girls do things like that. Some even make livings out of it. But this isn't the same. I know it's not the same. I'm not really a cat, you see. I can tell that much. Maybe you can now, but you were totally taken in me before, right? You, your great Aunt Clarence, your parents, and, well, everyone, really. It was a very convincing disguise. The best Halloween costume I've ever seen. Thanks. I managed to fool all you humans, but the other cats were less convinced. They must have known, on some instinctive level, that I wasn't one of their own. That's probably why they don't like me. Didn't want to come near me. That's true enough. Great Aunt Clarence's other cats, Smokey, Mittens, Snowdrop, Jasper, and Eric, never went near Belle. I always thought it was just a cat thing. My body was that of cat, but it was more than that. I've always been more. You said all you humans. Do you mean you're not human? How perceptive of you. She grins. And how many humans do you know that can disguise themselves as a black cat for years upon years? Maybe not a black one specifically. You're funny. You're so freaked out right now, but you're trying hard to make jokes. I like it. Christ. I run my hand through my hair. It's damp and it clumps together into spikes. Water trickles down my forehead. This is ridiculous. How can a cat also be a girl? I don't understand. It's probably easiest to think of me as neither. I'm not a cat or a girl. Then what are you? Words begin to flit through my mind. None of them are particularly flattering. Samus? Eldritch? Abomination? I get the last one. I'm actually, how can I phrase it? I suppose I would say spirit, but you humans might say other, harsher things like demon, devil, maybe monster. Monster? Not too far from abomination, then. At least you didn't say elder god. I was taking on the form of a cat out of necessity for a while. I didn't really want to, but I had no choice. I was too weak to assume a human form at the time, so I had to settle for something smaller. What do you mean, you were too weak? I can't explain it right now. It's a long, boring story, and you probably wouldn't understand. Probably not. I can't... Oh, let's not hurt anymore. I can't even understand the make-up sci-fi jargon in Doctor Who. So, how would I ever be able to wrap my head around something like this? Do you remember when I fell into the lake in Clarence's garden? I wasn't paying attention, really, lost in my own world. When you're a cat, you can't communicate with anyone. Daydreaming is all you can do to pass the time. Of course I remember. I almost died. I suppose you have a point. You humans only have one life after all. I take it you spirits, or whatever you are, have more? She taps a finger against her nose, the teasing smile flitting over her face. Now, that would be telling. A woman has to have her secrets. I thought you said you weren't a girl. I'm not. There's a big difference. Big difference between girl and woman. Alright, fine. I won't pry, but I still can't wrap my head around all of this. Good boy. I don't appreciate the condescending tone. I am 42. And yet, despite your age, you are nothing more than a child compared to me. Just how old is this woman? If we first met when I was 6, she must be a considerable head start over me. Isn't it rude to ask a lady her age, though? I was so happy when you tried to help me back there. I mean, I wasn't in any danger, but the fact that a human would risk their life in order to aid me really was touching. It wasn't touching, it was stupid. Don't be too hard on yourself. I appreciated it. People aren't very nice to us spirits, even when we masquerade as something else. Though they can never tell the difference, I think they can sense it. That might be true. My parents were never too struck on Belle. Well, neither was I. I wonder why, though. That was the general duties of your average run-of-the-mill spirit? Meting out death? Ferrying souls? Heralding the apocalypse? If that's the case, it's no wonder people are suspicious of her. I vowed, ever since that day, that I would regain enough strength to take on a human form. I would find you and thank you. It became my mission, my reason for living, as it were. I'm flattered, but you didn't need to go that far. Oh, but I did. At the time, I really, really did. I needed something to care about, something to strive for. It can't be cat for too long. It was almost beginning to lose my sense of self. I was starting to forget who I was, and that's a very dangerous thing for a spirit. Beings like me can take on other forms whenever we want, depending on how long we are. But if we remain in one form too long and forget about our true selves, we'll be stuck. I was this close. She holds up her thumb and forefinger. The distance between them is minimal. Microscopic. To forgetting, to condemning myself to life living in of a common house cat for the rest of my life. A life that would have ended far, far too fast. Cats can't live for nearly as long as spirits can. No, I can't imagine they would be able to. Just what am I talking about? I have no idea what I'm saying. I've never met a spirit before, so I have nothing to compare this girl's words to and no way of verifying her statements. I'm just saying what I think she wants to hear, trying to make her feel better. Over the course of the last 5 minutes, I've come to realize something. I don't like it when she frowns. Interesting. I'm glad you tried to save me, Robin. It woke me from my stupor, shook me by the shoulders, metaphorically, of course, because cats don't have shoulders, until all of the lethargy accumulated over the years fell away. I'd almost begun to forget it was an act. I'd almost forgotten myself. You made me remember. You made me remember who I really am. You didn't save me from drowning, but you saved me in a different way. You saved my identity. You saved not my physical body, but my sense of self. That's why I wanted to thank you. I'd be nothing than a dead kitty, a stone-cold cat carcass, if it weren't for you. I wouldn't be able to talk, to cry, or to laugh. I wouldn't even have opposable thumbs. Belle holds up her hands, bending each of her fingers in turn, like a child showing off an art project to a parent. So, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. She looks at me earnestly, her green eyes intense. I shiver. It feels like an invisible, ghostly hand is brushing against every single vertebra of my spine. I look away, flushed by the forthright honesty, and run a hand through my hair. I really am a typical man, bad with feelings, cowed by confessions. Well, you really said thank you, so you didn't need to kiss me. Was that also out of gratitude? Partially, maybe. It's because I realized something crucial. What? Saying thank you wasn't enough. Not after you helped me so much. You helped me more than you could ever know. Her eyes flash like flaunty street lamps, harsh and intense. I can see streaks of bright green pressed up close against my eyelids when I blink, burnt inside my skull. You almost gave your life to help me. Now I want to return the favor. I eye her suspiciously. And how are you going to do that? This is sketchy. This is really sketchy. So this girl's come back. Cat. And basically she likes to call herself a spirit, but she tells me that us humans could know of her as like either a devil or a monster. Meaning that's what we would describe her as. So what is devilish about her? Why did it take her so long to regain a human form? Interesting. I'm getting a bad feeling about this. This dream, nightmare, hallucination, whatever you want to call it, has become too real. I was playing along until now, waiting until I woke up, but it never happened. I don't think I'll ever wake up. A bizarre fantasy has impended upon my mundane life, sticking to my skin and chilling my bones. It clings to me, one skinny arm thread through mine, and stares at me with big, round eyes, penetrating. Her breasts are small, much like the rest of her body, but they feel soft pressed against my arm. I don't know if she's noticed, or was that her intention all along. Her bare arms are exposed to the biting wind and a falling rain, but she doesn't shiver. Her body's cold, but yet feels yielding at the same time. For all of her talk about being a spirit, a demon, a monster, she looks like a young girl to me. She's so short I could rest my chin against the top of her bobbed black head. She must be round the same height as Melly, give or take a few inches. This is really sketchy, isn't it? I want to be with you all the time. I want to help you as you helped me, and give you a shoulder to cry on when things get tough, and a smiling face to congratulate you when things go well. I wouldn't be alive without your sacrifice, so I belong to you now. I'm all yours. What? What does she mean, all yours? Humans aren't objects any one person can possess, no matter what marriage contracts would have you believe. Though Sally shares my last name on legal documents, she still publishes her translations under her maiden name. We've been married for almost 2 decades, but we do not belong to one another. I couldn't force Sally to obey me even if I tried, which I wouldn't have because I like to think that I respect her. But respect doesn't count for all that much when neither of us particularly like one another. Belle isn't human anyway. She's not even a cat. I don't know what she is. Maybe there are different rules in regards to possession when it comes to non-human entities. If there is, I would know. I've never met a spirit before. That's a dangerous line of thinking. Oh man, you can already like hear his rationale. You heard me. I want to devote myself to you. My entire being. My each and every eyelash belongs to you. The dirt beneath my fingernails. The teeny tiny bones inside my toes. I wouldn't be able to appear before you in this body if you hadn't saved me. So I owe you. I owe you a lot. In more ways than one. Without you, I would not be alive. The cold wind makes me shiver. I should have worn my coat. Why didn't I wear my coat? I must have been in too much of a hurry. The argument I had with Sally made my blood boil. I needed to escape before I suffocated. The cold air was giving me was good for me at first. It cleared my mind, but now I feel uncomfortable. She's standing close, far too close. She smells of the rain. Her hair sticks to her forehead, and her breasts are still pressed against my arm. It's cold, but I'm starting to feel warm, uncomfortably so. Oh! Belle's green eyes flashed like a colored band trapped inside glass marbles. One more thing. I'm still rather weak. I can maintain human form, but I can only use it for a short while. Human bodies are difficult to materialize into being, even for a spirit such as myself. You're so intricate, like grandfather clocks. You'd never think it, but inside here... She taps her chest, but I don't think she's telling me to stare at her breasts, what little she has. Rather, she's imploring me to look beyond that, right past her skin, into the inner workings of her alien, unfamiliar body. There's so much stuff on all the time, so many organs and muscles, and so much blood. My whole body is tethered together with a cord and wire, run by electrical impulses, neurons firing in the brain. It's very hard to focus on maintaining such a precious, delicate existence for long. It's exhausting. If I let my guard down for even a moment, I'd just disappear into thin air, like a candle being blown out. I've never heard anybody talk about the human body in such an impassioned way. It's strange, since Belle isn't a human herself. Maybe that's why she's so eager. People always get interested in the unknown. Why else do so many people long for the good old days? We always do it, nostalgically hearkening back to pasts we did not even enjoy at the time. The grass is always greener. Everything becomes more attractive with distance, even the finer workings of the human body, or your feelings when you're away from your wife. Perhaps, if I was not a human being, I would also find the respiratory system endlessly fascinating. Wasn't being a cat just as difficult? They have a lot of little bones too. Being a cat was difficult, but I grew used to it. A few decades will do that to you. Being a human, however, is rather new. I need some time. You've not assumed a human form before? Even as I ask the question, I feel myself wince. My eyes twitch. I must sound like such a fool. This isn't the kind of thing I should say. This disclosure has no place in civilized conversation. It's the kind of fanciful dialogue that might exist in a young adult novel or a TV show, but real life? My life? Not a chance. But I still ask at the same time, and Belle responds in turn. She doesn't even blink. Of course I have. How else would I be able to speak? It all comes with practice. Like riding a bike. Yep, I said that. Yep, once you've done it, you don't forget. But it's been a while. Define a while. I can't. Spirits live longer than humans, so the perception of time is a bit off. But if I had to guess, I don't know. The last time I was a human form, maybe 40 years ago. I've been alive longer than that. Longer than you could imagine. Wow, I don't know what to say. Should I turn it into a joke? It might be for the best if I don't want to go insane, presuming I haven't already. I don't know if I can feel comfortable about this. I should probably ask my mother for permission before I start chatting to such an older lady. Belle giggles and swats at me playfully, like a cat batting at a bird's carcass. I see she wasn't lying when she said she hasn't been a cat. She's been a cat for too long. I'm surprised she hasn't tried to lick me yet. Or herself. Interesting. I'd love to stay and chat, but I can feel myself getting faint. I might have to take my leave soon. But this won't be my last time to see you. I'll make sure of that. With that cheery exclamation, Belle stands on her tiptoes and plants a small kiss on the tip of my nose. The gesture is unexpected and strangely sweet. I stare at her stupidly. All right, Robin. I'll see you soon. Much, much sooner than you may think. I'm not sure if I should take that as a threat or not. And what's with that he? She isn't a cute schoolgirl, no matter how hard she's trying. She isn't even a girl at all. She's a spirit, something vague and unfixed like a breath of air. Do spirits have genders? Did she assume a female form as an act of whimsy? A silly joke, I wonder? But I don't have the time to ask. I blink once, and Belle has already vanished, her black melting into the surrounding darkness. I collapsed against the railings of the bridge, sapped of strength. The iron bars are cooled against my back, but my face feels hot. My nose tingles. I can feel her lips pressed against it, that soft and girlish kiss. I hold one hand against my nose, gingerly as though it belongs to somebody else. A different man. A better man, perhaps, whose wife still loves him, and whose daughter does not hide in her room every time he comes back home. Why am I thinking about Melody now? About Sally? Maybe it's guilt? It's because deep down inside, though I tried to tell myself otherwise, I'm happy such a pretty young girl kissed me. Of course I am. Interesting. Man, it's like a heavy subject. I mean, if it's like portraying like a, like an 18-year-old girl, whatever. But how young in his mind's eye is this girl? When I return home, chilled from the wind and soggy with rain, I discover that the lights in the house are off. Sally must be asleep. I'm not sure about Melly. For all I know, she could be curled up in her bedroom, curtains drawn, reading a book, or searching the net on her old laptop. Or maybe she's just sitting there, staring at the ceiling, cursing me silently. I have no idea. I really don't know much about Melly, do I? How on earth did we become so estranged? We're father and daughter. She's my flesh and blood, but she might as well be a stranger. I wish I could shrug it off with an, oh well, and sometimes I can, but it feels far too pressing right now. Far too depressing, more like. I open the front door and step inside, closing it behind me with a soft click. I don't want to wake anybody up. I even try to stifle the jingling of my keys, though I doubt that small sound would be enough to rouse anyone. I'm just trying to be considerate. Some people would call it overcompensating. I lean more towards cowardice. I don't want to get drawn into another row. I don't turn the lights on. Instead, I grope my way up the stairs in the dark, one hand on the wall and the other on the banister. Sally scolds me when I brush against the wall with my fingertips. She says it will stain the paint. Beige paint. The carpet is beige too. Why did we decide to carpet the stairs in beige? It shows every single speck of dirt. No matter how minuscule, a tight-lipped Sally has to vacuum each and every step. All 18 of them, every week. Maybe I should feel guilty for not cleaning the house more often. But Sally does work from home, unlike me. She has more free time. Besides, she was the one who decided the color scheme. If she likes beige so much, she can have it. But she's the one who has to deal with it. Damn. I really am cold, aren't I? So much for trying to be courteous. Why did I bother leaving the lights off? I should have flicked them on, then tramped up the stairs in my shoes, stamped on every other step for good measure. I like to think I'm a decent person, but I'm not always sure. I can be pretty shellfish at times. At least Belle likes me. Whew, that's a heavy line. That's a heavy line of someone who really having a rough go of it. That might be a small condolence if it weren't beginning to doubt whether or not she actually exists. Maybe I've gone insane. Is that where Melly caught it from? It could run in the family. Great Aunt Clarence was definitely a few cards short of a full deck, given she had all those cats. I let myself into my bedroom. No, not my bedroom. Mine and Sally's bedroom. And shrug out of my jacket silently. Sally doesn't stir. I can see her lying underneath the covers, curled up on herself, a lump that rises and falls in the dark. She's lying on her left side of the bed, routinely facing the wall. Does she still not want to see me? Sally looks younger when she's sleeping. Her blonde hair is loose, free of her bun, and falls over her pillow across her face. Her pajamas are strangely cute for a woman 1 year shy of 40. Demure white nightgown, like something at student Mallory Towers might wear. All of a sudden, I'm run through with a sharp stabbing sensation. Guilt. I'm sorry for being such a lousy husband, Sally Pally. You deserve better. She doesn't respond. Of course she doesn't. Apologies don't mean all that much when you forget to say them out loud. Oof, it's a heavy line. Whew. May 12th, Wednesday. Alright guys, that'll do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know where this is going, but it's heavy, for sure. This is like, this is different than the other visual novels I play where they're all high school kids and we have fun and you find the love of your life and, you know, whatever. This is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Anyway, guys, I will see you back on the prowl next time. Bye.